Well, hey, it's Kid Friday. It is show number 237. I'm Dave, and we do this show because you are a kid in a digital world. We're here at Studio 1A. That's what they changed. We were Studio C. I have to keep reminding myself. Studio 1A. Hey, we've got, I think, a really, really interesting show, certainly special, and one like that we've never done before. If you've watched some previous episodes of Kid Friday, you'll know that I found a hard drive, and I found some interesting things on the hard drive. Well, I found even more, and so I'm going to kind of tell you how I got started in podcasting, how my daughters got started in podcasting, and kind of take you on a journey, because it's actually kind of interesting, because they're in the newspaper and on TV, and I'm going to show you some of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. First, though, I want to thank Lucas at the Apple Store in Uptown, because I just walked over there, and it's a little chilly. It is. I have a thermometer right on the deck here at Studio 1A, and that looks to be somewhere close to 5 below Fahrenheit. And, of course, Kid Friday's viewed in over 200 countries, so it's like a little over my negative 20 Celsius, if I'm not mistaken. So it is a cold one out. Did I bring that? Yeah. So I brought out a hat, a special hat for this excursion. It's like a 10-minute walk, 8-minute walk. Depends on traffic and everything. But this hat in the winter, this is a genuine U.S. Navy hat that my dad gave me a long time ago, and it's got the size right there, what have you, everything, right? It's genuine military surplus, and I thought, wow, do that. So I threw it on, and then I threw some headphones on. Made the excursion a little, I don't know. It's windy, so the wind chill is well below 0 Fahrenheit, and obviously even more so in Celsius. So before we get into this show, I want to let you know, and here's a little kind of behind-the-scenes thing. Next week, so while we're recording this, today, the Consumer Electronics Show just started. And ooh, look at this. Here's a little kind of behind-the-scenes thing. There's A-roll, there's B-roll. We'll just watch a little bit of this. It's a noisy crowd. I've been there, and I'll tell you about in a second. It's nuts. It is absolutely nuts at the Consumer Electronics Show. There is no way that you can see the entire show while you're there, whilst negotiating. There's no way. I listened to some $5,000 headphones there. I thought they were. They sounded pretty good. I checked out, this year, I think one of the big things is 8K TV, because 4K just isn't enough. However, I think our eyes can only, we can only see the resolution so much. So, but we're going to be covering the Consumer Electronics Show. That way, we'll find out about who released what and what the hottest thing is. Last year when I was there, drones are still big. Drones, and they've actually gotten quite sophisticated over the past couple of years as well. So, all right. So let's talk about. I'm going to give you an insight of some certain things. And first, you're Kid Friday. Thank you for watching or listening to Kid Friday wherever you are, because I just pulled up on the iTunes chart Kid Friday's number 2 in What's Hot in Kids and Family Video. And if that's not enough, top video podcasts in Kids and Family on iTunes. Kid Friday, number 5. Story Cub, our sponsor, number 6. Congratulations to Story Cub. And it's really cool. We couldn't, hey, wow. You must like what we do. I hope I don't spoil it. So let's get into some things. First, I'm going to show you a few stats, kind of interesting things about Kid Friday. Just 3 little short ones here. So Kid Friday, our geographic countries, because I did mention Kid Friday is viewed in over 200 countries. In the United States, about half of our viewership is in the United States. And then it's kind of interesting because you would think Canada would be maybe a little bit up there, a little higher than the United Kingdom and Australia. But people in the United Kingdom and the UK think they love my accent, right? You guys do. You love my accent. And then, so there's Canada, Australia. Yeah, I know we're big down under. And I like Men at Work. So, and Olivia Newton-John. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Let's take a look at the top U.S. markets. Now, Kid Friday is broadcasting, and I should have mentioned it earlier because it's cold here, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I've showed that previously on a map. You can certainly look it up. We've got North and South Dakota to our west, Iowa to our south, Wisconsin to our east, and Canada to the north. So we border with Canada. So you'd think Minneapolis would be, pretty big, we're our home base, right? Well, let's check this out. Top U.S. markets. Number 1, New York. But that makes sense because New York is the number 1 market in the United States. Okay. And then after that, you kind of got to look around. But the number 2 market in the United States is Los Angeles. And there you go, 5% from Los Angeles. So that makes sense. We've got the number 1 market, which is the most viewed. Number 2 market, most viewed. It makes sense. All right. Chicago is, I think they might be 4. Dallas, Fort Worth might be 5. San Francisco, I'm thinking might be 3. And then there's other, 71%, almost 72%. No, I'm sorry. What am I doing? I'm looking at the wrong thing. Almost 74% of other. But it's a long list, and we don't want to, waste time doing that. I'm going to show you one more interesting kind of tidbit about Kid Friday that's going on right now. I literally got these today, so it's not old information. This is actually what's going on with Kid Friday as I read, same day as we're taping this. So the technology. See, this is the thing. We're big on iTunes. And it's funny because I remember when Google bought YouTube, and I thought, I don't think that's YouTube. I'm not so sure about it. Boy, was I wrong, right? But we did get into iTunes pretty early, and you'll notice that it says Apple Core Media, and let me see if I can point it to you. I think I can right there. Apple Core Media basically means that you're using an Apple device. So 57% almost of the viewers or people who listen or view Kid Friday are using some type of Apple device. And then, we can break it down. How are you getting it? Well, everyone's getting it, through iTunes, right? Because we have iTunes on our computers and iTunes on our digital devices. So through an iPod, which is wild, 20%, I'm sorry, what am I doing? 20%. A little over 11% get it off an iPod. And that's cool. That's cool. An iPhone, 5, almost 6%. And then right through iTunes, because you can download, and that's what most people do, is they download Kid Friday off of iTunes, and then they put it on their digital device, which makes sense. So the 16% of people getting it off of off of iTunes is doing it that way. So it's a kind of interesting stuff about Kid Friday. Now, Kid Friday did not start out as Kid Friday, and here's where it's going to get interesting. I think this is fun. Okay, so back in 2000. I thought it was 2006. It was really early on in the podcast world, but I believe it actually may have been 2007. So 2007, I thought it would be fun, a fun family project. So I had two, my daughters were 6 and 8, I believe, at the time. And I asked them, I said, do you want to do a podcast? And they said, what's a podcast? Right? That's what most people are. Most people in 2007 didn't know how to download a podcast, let alone a 6 and 8 year old. I said, we're gonna do a thing, but we did it in audio only, okay? Because the bandwidth at the time wasn't really good for video, for streaming video. But audio really was where it's at in podcasts, and for the most part, it still is. So we started. So anyway, I asked my kids, Hannah and Zoe. I said, "All right, we're going to do a podcast," and they still didn't know. I said, "It can be on anything you want. It's your choice, all right? What are we going to do a podcast on?" Well, we had just come back from Chicago because, what is it? These American Girl dolls, all right? So now it's at the Mall of America in the in this city. It would have been a lot more convenient to just drive 20 minutes. However, we went to the American Girl store, okay? And they charge $15 to braid your doll's hair. That's one thing I remember. I don't remember much, but that I remember. On the way, we stopped and took a tour of Jelly Belly. Now, you think that sounds cool, right? I thought it sounded cool. They take you around a warehouse that has a bunch of boxes of Jelly Bellies, and then they drop you off. It's right outside of Milwaukee. And then they drop you off at their store that is loaded with Jelly Belly stuff for sale. So the tour, I thought we were going to see how they're made and all that, but we did. Okay, so anyway, the kids pick American Girl, okay? I said, okay, next week we're gonna do it. So the day comes, and I said, are you guys ready? You're going to do it? And they're like, Dad, we changed our mind. We want to do it on Webkinz. I'm like, Webkinz? And I was familiar with Webkinz because they have a whole line. What they are, they're stuffed like beanie Beanie Baby kind of stuff, kind of animals, and they come with a code on them, and then you enter the code on the Webkinz website, and your pet becomes a virtual. And it was really cutting edge for the time. It really, and it's still popular. Not quite as much as it was, but it was pretty popular. And so I said, okay, we're gonna do a show about Webkinz. What should we call it? What should we call all these? See, they come. There, I don't know how many different animals there are, but there's a lot. And anyway, we decided to come up with the name, the Webkinz Webcast. How about that? That's a pretty good name. So we started the Webkinz Webcast, and we talked about Webkinz. And if you know anything about Webkinz, you know, they have recipe. There's a whole, you can look it up. But I told them any subject you want, and they chose Webkinz. And the show took off. Like, we're only on show number 11, I think it was. And in our hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Twin Cities in Minnesota, the Webkinz Webcast, my kids, Hannah and Zoe, they end up on the front page of the newspaper. The front page of the newspaper. That's pretty wild. Guy named Randy Salas. I remember him coming out to the house, and really nice guy. And he wrote a great article, so thanks, Randy. Here's more of the from the article. So that's myself on the right. Zoe, who was 6 at the time, is in the middle. And wearing that hat is 8-year-old Hannah. So that was pretty cool. Because the Webkinz Webcast was one of the most viewed, or not listened to, I should say, listened to podcasts in iTunes. By far. And so all of a sudden, local TV gets involved, and I can't convert some of the files. I have a lot more, but here's one. Let's check this out about the Webkinz Webcast.
Well, still ahead, a Plymouth family that is attracting worldwide attention.
Let's start it off with some breaking news.
The idea that is drawing listeners from as far away as China. Well, they are a very popular toy that is in high demand for youngsters across the country.
They're called Webkinz, and they're stuffed animals that even have their own website. As Lisa Ferguson shows us, they are so popular, one Plymouth family does an entire webcast about them.
Okay, you guys ready?
In a basement studio,
Zoe, what are you going to say?
Dave Zwerdlik and his 2 daughters prepare for their 14th podcast.
Wait, I forgot.
The nerves quickly disappear.
Hurry up, all you kids. It's time for the Webkinz Webcast.
I like to play with my Webkinz. I like to play with them all the time.
And Hannah and Zoe launch into their favorite toy.
A Webkinz. A Webkinz.
For those out of the loop, a Webkinz is a stuffed animal with its own website. It's this generation's Beanie Baby.
How about that, girls? Do we love Webkinz?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That popularity sparked an idea.
I said to the girls, I said, hey, do you want to try a podcast? And they said, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
With Dave's broadcast background, he and the girls tape a 20-minute weekly podcast all about the furry animals.
I didn't think anyone was going to listen to it, but it's really caught on.
Their show is one of the most requested podcasts.
We've got about 50,000 downloads of the podcast in the past month.
Their website shows a map pinpointing listeners across the world.
We've gotten emails from China, from Greece, from Turkey.
But for this family, it is not about the internet fame.
It's fun to just be down here every week and have some time with Dad.
They express themselves. They don't hold back. It's a great family project.
A project that doesn't seem to have an end in sight.
We'll see you next time.
In Plymouth.
Bye!
Lisa Ferguson, 12 News.
That's cool. If you're interested in the Families Podcast, we'll show you how to get it. You can go to our website.
All right. Well, there you go. So, look at that. They're on TV. They're on TV. It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. So, the kids are having fun. And we're taping this audio podcast, Webkinz Webcast, and find out all sorts of stuff. And the cool thing is, what I like to do, and anybody who's even on Kid Friday, I never tell them what I'm going to talk about, because you hear some people say, before the show we were talking about, I like to get you on the spur of the moment. And I think that's what made the Webkinz Webcast a lot of fun. And kids like listening to other kids. That's for sure. Okay. So, locally, we're on the Webkinz Webcast was on the front page of the newspaper. Actually, 2 different newspapers. I have the other one somewhere. They were on TV on the news, and before you know it, I got contacted, and they were hired. And they were on location. There's a place. It was close to Halloween. And they said the Webkinz Webcast is going to be at our place on this date at this time. And what they said, anyone who shows up can be a guest on the Webkinz Webcast. So kids came out, and there's just one picture. There's a bunch, but there's one there. Of kids that are on the Webkinz Webcast. They wanted to be on the Webkinz Webcast because locally is where, although it was big in iTunes, locally it was even bigger, and so they got a fee to appear, an appearance fee. To appear and record Webkinz Webcast on location at a it's kind of a nursery, pumpkin-y kind of, I don't know what it, I haven't been there. I hadn't been there before, and I haven't been there since. Not saying anything wrong. I'm just saying. So how cool is that? You're 6 and 8, and you're making some money. I didn't get that. Okay, so now here's the deal, and it's going to go right over my face. So, just for fun. So I consider myself a musician. Okay, so what I did is number one, I wrote the theme song to the Webkinz Webcast, and then I wrote a whole bunch of other songs about Webkinz, and kids loved it. And so I came out with a download and a CD of, it's going to go over my face. I went by the pseudonym of Super Pet. Songs inspired by Webkinz. Yes, the word is out. I'm Super Pet. Okay? I'm giving the secret out. I'm Super Pet. And kids, they really love the songs, so much so some of them put YouTube videos together to go along with some of the songs. So let's check. I don't know if we're going to see the whole thing or not, but so Webkinz, they have I don't know how many different variety of dogs, right? So one of the songs Super Pet wrote. I wrote a song called My Webkinz Dogs, and this girl, who I have no idea who she is, made a video to go along with the Webkinz Dogs.
Of Webkinz dogs, my Webkinz dogs are the best. I
I like the other Webkinz pets, but I love the dogs more than the rest. I have a lot of Webkinz dogs, let's see how many I own. I'll count up a couple and then some more. Wow, my collection has grown. I've got the Black Lab and Saint Bernard, they love to play Webkinz in my yard. Bulldog and Yorkie, I love them and they love me. Chihuahua and Basset Hound, I love having all my dogs around. Dalmatian and Golden Retriever, I've got Webkinz dog fever. Pink Poodle and a regular one, wait a minute, I'm not done. White Terrier, a puppy and a pug, I always give them a hug. And my cheeky dog, please don't forget my cheeky dog. Everywhere I go, my dogs go with me. Everyone can see that they're the best, yeah, everyone agrees. It took a while for me to get all these Webkinz in my home. I had to save real hard for all the Webkinz dogs I own. I've got the Black Lab and Saint Bernard, they love to play Webkinz in my yard. Bulldog and Yorkie, I love them and they love me. Chihuahua and Basset Hound, I love having all my dogs around. Dalmatian and Golden Retriever, I've got Webkinz dog fever. Pink Poodle and the regular one, wait a minute, I'm not done. White Terrier, a puppy and a pug, I always give them a hug. And my cheeky dog, please don't forget my cheeky dog. Why would you want to forget about Cheeky anyway? Just because he's retired? Everyone loves a retired cheeky dog. What are those dogs barking? Man, a lot of dogs. Was that a cow? Where'd that cow come from? It's a song about dogs. If you love Webkinz dogs as much as someone like me, you got to go get more Webkinz dogs. Will they put out more, please? They should give double points for every doggy you acquire, because these Webkinz dogs are all that I desire. I've got the Black Lab and Saint Bernard, they love to play Webkinz in my yard. Bulldog and Yorkie,
I love them and they love me. Chihuahua and Basset Hound. How it goes, I forget actually. Anyway, the big hit actually off the CD is a song called "A Webkinz Named Sushi," and the main line or the hook of the song is "Sushi is the name of my pet, a name I know I'll never forget. And if someday I go to Japan, I'll have a translator in my hand. I've got a Webkinz named Sushi." So there you go. All right, so now the girls are getting older. Oh, hold on. Let's get back to this music thing. All right, I'm going to put this thing over my face again, right? It's okay. So this is available as an download on iTunes, as well as they were scattered about through some rap groups. And then all of a sudden, Minnesota Business Magazine. That's a picture of me, and that's little Zoe there on the left, and bigger anyway. Hannah with the blonde hair on the right, and so Minnesota Business Magazine did I can't find. I've got it somewhere. They did an article on podcasting and monetizing and kind of how podcasting is growing, and because we had built up this big thing of Webkinz. However, hold on. However, you know, you can only like Webkinz for so long. Now, I was way over it. But the kids, and I told this to them from the very beginning. I said, as long as you're having fun, we will keep doing this. And we had a lot of fun. I said, however, when you ever, get sick of it or don't want to do it anymore, let me know. So we did 110 episodes of the Webkinz Webcast. 110 episodes. And the kids are kind of falling out. They were growing up. because it was over a period of a few years, and they were like, Dad, you know, we're not into Webkinz so much anymore. And I'm thinking, yes, because those things are like, I don't know, $15 each. Okay, so they're nice. And so they said, but we still want to do a podcast because it's so much fun. And so through a brainstorming kind of a thing, we came up with Kid Friday. And look at that. Ooh, Zoe's wearing my favorite Eggo. Let go my Eggo shirt. And so you notice Zoe's holding a phone and Hannah's holding the first generation iPad. And we started Kid Friday back in, don't quote me on it. A while back. I don't want to give not factual information. All right. So we started. So we're like, hey, let's do a show about technology for kids. That's what we came up with. Because they were growing up in technology and you know, the iPad and this and that, you know, all of a sudden things are, you know, are starting to happen. That picture wasn't taken right when we started Kid Friday. It was taken a little after. It was taken after that, but they were still pretty young there. And here's the original, right over my face again. Sorry. Or if you want, I can, you know, I could do that. But there's the original Kid Friday logo. All right. And if you'll notice, so I wrote the theme song or the jingle or the opening, closing, whatever you want to call it, the song for Kid Friday. And in Kid Friday, in this, we mentioned the iPod. And I was going to change the lyrics, but I'm thinking, you know, the iPod was so significant in changing what, wow. I mean, it was groundbreaking, and it's so hard to really, there's so many different ways that it was groundbreaking. Certainly the way you listen to music, obviously, but so much more. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave iPod in there. And as you can see, as we saw the chart earlier, that people are using iPods. So, you know, makes sense right there. 11.2% of Kid Friday viewers are using an iTunes or are using an Apple iPod. So that's that. All right, now, so we start Kid Friday. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just pure luck or I don't know what, but we land on the front page of the newspaper. Not only here, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities, both papers. We're in the Washington Post. What's going on there? Huh? We're in the Washington Post. The Seattle Times, picked up by the Seattle Times. All over the place. Kid Friday is blowing up. What is that? What is going on here? And so every news outlet in the city wanted to do something, something, because it was kind of a neat story, because of Hannah and Zoe. They're kids doing a podcast, and I kind of help them along, as you can see. But here's one of the stories on the local. So the local CBS affiliate came out to the house, and you can check this out. Here's this. It's ran on the news, the local news on WCCO TV, CBS.
Technology plays a big part in our lives, and 2 young girls in Plymouth are helping other kids understand how it all works through a nationally recognized podcast. As they told our Reg Chapman, they're learning a lot from the experience, too.
Is the Kid Friday Podcast.
In the basement of their home in Plymouth.
It's just for Halloween, but no.
Since 2007, Dad Dave and his 2 girls Zoe and Hannah bond during a weekly podcast called...
And it's on Kid Friday.
We do this show because you're a kid in a digital world.
Kid Friday beat out thousands of other podcasts to reach the finals of the Podcast Awards.
I'm really surprised that we were one of 10 podcasts in a couple different categories after 1.4 million votes.
Like an X-ray effect.
Nominated in 2 categories, People's Choice and Best Education, this team of podcasters are focused on teaching and learning.
So many podcasts out there on technology, but it's all geared towards adults. And there's nothing out there for kids.
I want a marshmallow shooter instead.
The girls think what they do on the podcast is awesome.
And I like knowing that other people learn new stuff. And I learn new stuff from it too. It's really interesting to hear all the emails from all around the world and see that someone's actually listening to us.
It's for kids.
Cool is the fact that this is a family affair.
It's really easy talking to my family because I know my family.
Kid Friday.
Nothing breeds togetherness like hanging out in the basement studio for hours with family.
But at least it's something. At first we just did this in the basement. We just did it for a fun family thing. And it became really big, and I thought it was so cool.
Got her first credit card.
And for now, there is no end in sight for the talent behind Kid Friday and its thousands of listeners worldwide.
Bye.
We'll talk to you on the next Kid Friday podcast.
Time.
Bye-bye.
All right, so
the family would love for you to vote for them as your favorite. Just head to WCCO.com/links to check out the...
All right, vote for us for your favorite. Yeah, so we finished top 10 worldwide. Top 10 People's Choice and Best Education. And I apologize. I hope you're enjoying this, but I forgot that I set up an outdoor cam again, just for fun. So let's go to that if we can. And there you go. You're looking at a pedestrian bridge where it's lighted. And then underneath is a bicycle path. It's called the Greenway. And no action. I think I see a car. It's cold out. No one wants to be outside. But I threw a camera out there anyway, just to see how it would look. So now we know. Now we know how it looked. All right. Okay, so this is kind of a fun one, only because of the backstory on this. So there is a show locally called Twin Cities Live. And I hope the quality is good. It may not be quite as good, but it's the best I could get. So it's called Twin Cities Live. And believe it or not, it's done live. It's kind of a catchy name, Twin Cities Live, considering that it's live. Okay, so they want to have Hannah and Zoe on as TV, as tech experts, from Kid Friday. And I asked them about it, and they said, wow, and I showed them the show on TV, and they're like, wow, that'd be cool. That'd be great. Okay, so we're at the studio, and you may have heard it called the Green Room, right? It's kind of where guests are before they go on the show. Okay. Zoe, the dark-haired one, she was, I don't know how old she was. Maybe she was 7, 8, I don't know, is freaking out. Zoe, the show is already started. They had somebody coming out doing a recipe or something. I don't know before that. And so Zoe's freaking out, and they come back and they go, "You're on in 5 minutes." I say, "All right, cool. Isn't this exciting?" Zoe starts bawling her head off. She is crying. "I can't do this. I can't do this." And I'm not doing this to mock you, Zoe. I'm just relaying the experience. And literally, they came in and they said, okay, we're going to come back in 60 seconds and come and get you and bring you out. And Zoe is in tears. She is, I can't do this. I can't. And she was freaking out, which made me freak out. I go, Zoe, you can do it. Come on, you're natural. You do it all the time. It's Kid Friday. You're just going to do it with a live audience in front of you. Don't mess up. I didn't say it quite like that, but Zoe, you can do it. And I can't believe it because it's one of those you had to really see what went on, because it went down to like, she's on the set and all right, we're on in 15 seconds and she's that, and she pulls it together. I'm going to give her full credit. So check this out a little bit. Hannah is in the blonde hair. Zoe, Zoe's a little younger. She's in the dark hair, who I don't know how she recovered, because she was, wow. I mean, that was something.
Kids may be asking for. It's called the Nintendo 3DS. It hit stores this past weekend. It's a handheld gaming system that provides 3D gaming without the glasses. In fact, Jimmy Fallon recently gave it a shot on his show with some help from the president of Nintendo of America.
Yeah, but do kids actually like it? Here with their impressions, along with some other tech toys for kids, we have the hosts of the Kid Friday Tech Podcast, Hannah and Zoe Zwerdlik. Hi, girls.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Pretty pumped to have you here, ladies. Thanks so much for being here. I mean, they are a big shot. They're the number 8 kids and family iTunes podcast going on right now.
Hannah, how did you start doing this podcast?
Well, we were doing a Webkinz Webcast before, and there's these little stuffed animals, and you go online with them. And we got really sick of doing that, so we're like, well, what should we do? And we were really into iPods and electronics, so we decided to do it on electronics.
And so, Zoe, you guys do this in your house, and your dad helps you out? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
And you record it,
Mm-hmm.
and are you surprised by how many people want to listen to what you have to say about tech stuff?
Yeah, I was really surprised. Like, the first, 2 weeks we did it, we had so many views. It was crazy.
Now, do you hear from people from around the world that are listening to you?
Yes, we do. We're from Japan and Germany. We get emails every week from people all around the world.
Is it just kids, or do you have a lot of adults listening too?
It's mostly kids. Some of their parents write in and say, this is so cool.
It is cool. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
All right, we talked about the Nintendo 3DS. We gave you a chance to check it out. We've got it right here, and we gave you a chance to check it out before the show. So,
Hannah, you have it?
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you think?
It's so cool. There's been DSs before like this, but this one is actually in 3D. And so you can play games in 3D, take pictures in 3D, and it's amazing.
That thing takes pictures?
Yep. There's 2 cameras. And you can take pictures of yourself, and then you can take pictures of your friends.
Oh my gosh.
So when it's 3D, so if you're doing an action type of game or something like that, does it feel like you're dodging out of the way of stuff? Or?
Yes, you can take pictures and have yourself in the games.
But Zoe, what about
I
always wonder about the 3D stuff, maybe because I'm very, very old, and I wonder if your eyes will hurt when you're looking at this. I'm afraid to go to a 3D movie. Do you think that is it hard on your eyes?
Well, after about 10 minutes, it gets a little dizzy.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool.
Okay.
All right, that's nice.
I mean, don't let dizziness get in the way of a good time.
They got virtual reality games in this thing as well. It goes for $249.99. Now, we also want to talk about some of your favorite products, and I understand the Apple iPad is a very popular one, especially with you guys.
Yes.
So why are you loving the iPad? Because everybody knows the iPad gets rave reviews, but we're looking at it from a kid's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, why would a kid want the iPad?
The iPad can do everything. You can look at YouTube videos, you can play games, you can surf the internet, you can do whatever you want.
It really helps out with homework, I would think, huh?
Yeah, you can type reports on it. I've done that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you ever use it to do drawings or anything like that?
Yeah,
too?
you can do drawings.
Wow.
So, Zoe, I heard that you guys like there's some apps in particular for kids that you like on the iPad. The Angry Birds one, what is this one?
So you have these birds, and they're you try to kill these pigs,
Yeah.
And it's just fun.
Okay, I have to tell you that my 30-year-old friend Matt, a huge fan of this game.
I know a lot of 30, 40, 50-year-old people that love this game. Here's why I don't play this game myself, because I understand it's completely addicting, and if I tried it once, I'd play it a million times. Is this true, ladies?
Yes, it's definitely addicting.
Addicting. Okay, what about Flipboard, Hannah?
Flipboard, so you can go on, you can add your Facebook and Twitter accounts, and you can look at the newspaper, you can look at what your friends are posting, you can do whatever.
So it just kind of combines everything so you can look at it all in one place?
Yeah, it's like your own magazine.
Oh, wow.
A little one-stop shop.
Neat,
nice.
okay.
And Salty Spa Light?
Sally Spa Light.
Sally Spa Light.
Yeah.
I like that because...
I know that one.
Zoe's laughing at you. Zoe, why do you like that one?
Because when I grow up, I want to open my own store.
Nice.
And it's just fun because you can it's just challenging and it's just so fun.
So you get to make up your own spa, essentially. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And you're saying who gets the pedicure and who gets that, yeah?
Is that the kind of store you want to open up?
Not really.
What do you want to open up?
Open like a fashion store or something.
Fashion store. Well, you girls are pretty fashionable, so
Very
this does
nice.
not surprise me.
You've also brought the Samsung Camcorder F40, which is a favorite of yours.
Yeah,
right?
why is this a good one for kids?
I like it because it has a really, really good zoom, and I love making YouTube videos with my friends because it's just, I like doing that.
Yeah, that's really fun. It looks like it'd be a nice size for you guys because your hands are a little smaller, you know?
And it has that handle.
So it's pretty easy to use?
Yeah.
Okay, does it need to be easy to use for kids? Because it seems like it needs to be easy to use for the adults. The kids can't handle just about anything. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you handle more advanced technology than your parents? You can figure it out faster?
Well, your dad's got to be pretty savvy.
Yeah, my dad he knows a lot about electronics.
Yeah.
But most adults, I would think you have them, pretty good, huh?
And your mom, you're just kind of leaving out there? She's not, maybe, okay. She's good at other things?
Well, you girls did a great job. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah,
nice
that's
job on the smiles all segment long. We appreciate that. The Kid Friday Podcast, it's available on iTunes. We mentioned it's number 8 among kids and family right now.
Girls are awesome, yeah.
They are huge celebrities. We're glad to have them on the show. We have a link to their podcast on our website. Just go to KSTP.com, click on Twin Cities Live.
Thanks a lot, girls. Okay, coming up, Joyce Carol Oates is here. She's the...
Okay, so I just remembered I haven't seen this in years that, I think the host said, hey, and thanks for the smiles for the whole show. The hosts were freaking out because Zoe was in tears and freaking out and scared. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And of course, and she did a great job. Great job. Great job. However, she made a lot of people nervous. I forgot, including those hosts. Just make sure, just smile. Just smile. Remember that. I'm trying to, Well, we can go out for Chinese after. Usually it's candy that you offer, but she likes Chinese food. So that was wow. I can't. It's one of those you had to be there, but she was freaking out. So Kid Friday still moves along, and I'm not, we do an audio. It was an audio. We eventually switched to video. I'm not exactly sure when, but there's the press from around the city and actually around the world were interested in Kid Friday because you have to remember again, this is podcasts are still very, very much I think in its infancy, and like I mentioned earlier, I totally remember just about everyone I spoke to about the podcast. That sounds so cool. How do I get it? How do I get it? Where do I find it? No one used iTunes at one time. No one used, and how do I, that's the one thing I really remember. Wow, you guys have a popular podcast? I've heard of podcasts. What is a podcast? Yeah. How do I get it? I mean, how can I see it or listen to it? How that's what it was like. Anyway, another local station did a story on Kid Friday. Let's check this out.
A family from Plymouth is now getting international recognition for what they record in their basement. They teach children about technology through podcasts. The family tells me their popular program got 2 nods in a global competition.
Let's get this party started.
13-year-old Hannah Zwirlik,
Well, they have
and her 10-year-old sister Zoe
I've been listening.
like talking technology.
For example, Club Penguin. I don't like that website, but a lot of other people do. iPod Touch.
They love giving their takes on the latest gadgets and games.
A lot of people email in questions, and they say, oh, should I ask for the new iPod or should I wait for the next iPod?
You do not have to download.
Each week, Dad Dave picks products for his child critics to review.
I can't believe it's not butter.
$50. You know how they print receipts?
From the basement of their Plymouth home, they share their high-tech perspectives via their podcast, Kid Friday.
It's Canada.
It's kids talking to kids, and I try and help them along.
Tens of thousands of listeners are downloading the podcast each week from iTunes or from the Kid Friday website.
That's interesting.
And thanks to listeners from around the globe, Kid Friday got top 10 recognition in 2 categories of the Podcast Awards.
They send in emails and they're like, oh, I love your show from all around the world.
A lot of times when we get email, we go to a map and where do they live? Where is Romania?
I'm wondering what Hannah and Zoe's top 3 apps are.
The girls like teaching other kids what they've been taught.
A lot of people don't know this much about technology, and so they can learn from this in a fun way.
And learning from their listeners.
I think it's so cool, and we learn a lot about their countries. BCBG Max.
All the while having fun along the way.
And we have this fun family thing that it's just us, and it's just so much fun and so cool, and we think it's just amazing that it got so big.
Well, you can hear all of Kid Friday's podcast on their website. We have a link to it on KSTP.com. Just click on links when you get.
All right, I think that was the same as a ABC affiliate that Twin Cities Live was on. So it's one thing when you're taping, right? Because whatever, but when you're live, and I go back. So great job, Zoe, of pulling it back together, because just great job. That's all I'm going to say. So now the kids, Hannah and Zoe, they're, growing more. And I think, so I'm going to show you one more video that a local TV station did. And think of these little girls, think of these little girls when you saw the Webkinz Webcast stuff, right? They were pretty small. They were little. Let me take a look at this again. Look, here. Okay. So, and again, just to kind of point it out here, Zoe right here, at the time 6 years old. Hannah right there, 8. Okay. So, little kitties. Doing their thing, having fun, whatever. And this is kind of towards the end where they finally said, Dad, we're not sure about doing Kid Friday anymore. I said, hey, the deal all along was, as long as you're having fun, do it. And now I continue it. I'll tell you why in just a bit. Anyway, the thing is this, is that I was going to show you another video. So here is, think of those girls in that picture you just saw, and then look how much they've grown in this piece.
14 and 11-year-old sisters, the Swordlet girls are into all the things young girls are: clothes, friends, their loyal dog, and their lives at their fingertips. They are connected and confident in the digital world they live in.
Hey, from Studio 1A, it is the Kid Friday Podcast.
But it's when they take a chair in their basement that their true creativity comes out.
We do this show because you're a kid in a digital world. Let's introduce the Kid Friday Kids.
Hi, I'm 11 years old, and I'm Zoe. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm 14 years old. And this is the Kid Friday Podcast.
Yeah, I'm a kid. I love computers. I have an iPod. I'm a gadget freak.
They've been broadcasting Kid Friday for 3 years.
Do we have any kind of limits at home as far as internet?
Led by their biggest supporter.
If I was a great violin player, maybe I'd teach them to play violin, but unfortunately I'd never tried.
Dave has a broadcast background. Figured out when he bought his first Mac how easy it was to get his girls involved.
Have a gone silly dilly.
I thought, what a great way to introduce them to something that I can teach them.
It's like you watch all the good ones, which there's probably like 2, and then you're done with it.
At the time, they were a little younger and into those stuffed animals that would come alive on the web.
They really loved Webkinz at the time, and so we came up with the Webkinz Webcast and did 110 episodes of that.
But as it happens with kids, their interests would change.
Hi, Kid Friday. I really like to listen to your podcast while drawing pictures.
And rather than give up the show, they made it grow up.
We're like, how about we do a podcast about technology? And so we started it and called it Kid Friday. I have a Twitter account dedicated to them. The goal is to like teach people about stuff they might not know about technology, like new apps and websites and little tricks that you can do to be better with technology. I learn a lot more about new websites and new apps and all of that stuff.
Hannah is a huge One Direction fan.
They get off topic now and then.
I am more than a fan.
But what kid doesn't?
Are you a stalker?
Sure. Except I can't go to Sweden. Doubt.
In a way, that's what makes the show work.
Whenever I spell YouTube, it always spells it like YoTub. I know.
Kids love listening to other kids.
Kid Friday is one of the most listened to shows in the Kids and Family section in iTunes. Thousands listen each week around the world.
Europe and Asia. Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I'm 13. Cool, right?
A couple weeks ago we had a listener from Nepal write in. We've got a lot from Thailand, from Hong Kong.
My favorite song is Boyfriend by Justin Bieber. I hate everything about him, but I love that song. I like that basically we can talk to people around the world. It's so nice to know that we have so many listeners.
Beyond their digital relationships, it's the family bond that's the most important connection.
It really does go back to the original idea of just a family activity.
We sort of get to know each other because we talk about like what we like and stuff. And we're still really mean to each other, but we sort of get to know each other a little bit better.
Seems like you guys get along so well.
Sometimes.
A way to get closer while learning about life beyond the one that lives online.
It's not only good for us together as a family to do a podcast, but just as young adults, being able to go out in the public and feel comfortable about talking with friends and new people they meet. And it allows people like me to do a fun thing with the kids, but it's gratifying for them to see, wow, it's fun doing it, but we got a lot of people listening to us.
Hey, Kid Friday, I love your show.
That's, I think, the real kick for them, to know that a lot of people are interested in what they have to say.
All right,
Life
so
to the max.
There you go. I thought that was a nice piece. But they grew up, and so that was before we even got into video. And so anyway, I found this stuff. I just thought it'd be fun to share. And learn a little bit about it. Hannah and Zoe. So Hannah, let's just kind of catch you up here. Well, actually, I had a few pictures. One thing I was going to say, Hannah mentioned One Direction, and I don't know, are they still? No, because somebody left. Zayn left the band. Didn't Zayn leave the band? Came out. Yeah. Anyway, I surprised the kids. The day of the show. 10th row center for One Direction, and I'm so glad I brought earplugs, because the girls were, it's not the music, the girls at this arena were screaming One Direction. Wow, it was loud. Also, I happened to find a picture. don't know what she's up to these days, but she had a show, I think, on Nickelodeon. This Victorious. I don't know. What's her name? Victoria or Victorious? I don't know. But there they are there as well. And then, just as an added bonus, my dog, who unfortunately passed away this past year, that's Winston the Poodle. What a great guy. Love you, Winston. Now, if you could just stand by. No, I'm just kidding. I just put that together, so I just thought I'd throw that in there. Kid Friday continues to do what it does. And I didn't do this at the beginning of the show, which is interesting. I do on every show, but I always say, we come out of the intro and we go, Kid Friday's brought to you by Story Cub. It is story time all the time, 24/7. It is, it's always a great time for a story. And Story Cub is a sponsor of Kid Friday. And I like those guys at the Story Cub. So there you go. And you can go to storycub.com. Right on the homepage, you can scroll down to the bottom and watch free video versions of awesome children's picture books. And it is so much fun. And at 3 a.m., 3 nights ago, I put on a Story Cub a video picture book, and before I knew it was over, I was snoozing. So that's good stuff too. And you can take it with you wherever you go. And then as long as they're doing that, we might as well see the bear running down the road. Story Cub, seriously, thanks for being a sponsor of Kid Friday. So that, my friends, is a tale that I'm going to tell of the Webkinz Webcast, how it shifted to Kid Friday, and how we somehow, why do you know what? You like Kid Friday. We usually do actually give you more factual information that you can use. And we cover stories that are going on, like especially because it's more kind of teens and tweens that that you probably are. But, Facebook gets hacked, and, new products from Apple. I took a video today. I'll have to load it. Because, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I went to the Apple store. And Lucas, one of the geniuses at the Genius Bar. Is he a genius? I'm just going to leave it at that. He's a really good guy. I would say he's 90% genius, 10% puzzled. So thanks so much for joining us here on Kid Friday. We look forward to doing Kid Fridays as long as you like to watch Kid Friday and listen to Kid Friday. We are going to continue to do it. And as I mentioned here, look at this. This is today. Today. Look at that. This is today. Today. Maybe not the day you're watching this, but the day I'm recording this. And the day that the Consumer Electronics Show opened up, and having gone to the Consumer Electronics Show, I can tell you it is one madhouse of... There's going to be some interesting presentations coming out at the Consumer Electronics Show as well. So this week. So we're going to be covering some of the biggest releases or pre-releases or previews or prototypes of items that are shown at the Consumer Electronics Show. It is a big show. It's big. It's big. All right. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us. here from Studio 1A. Hello. That's what they told me. They said, you're no longer Studio C, you're Studio 1A. Okay, well, thanks. And can we take one last look outside? Is there any action? What is the temperature? It's cold out there. Yeah, everyone's all bundled up and put away. There you go. Isn't that fun to look at? It actually is on the weekend in the summer. That I will tell you. Oh, sorry. That I will tell you. It is fun to do that. All right. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us here on Kid Friday. And please tell your friends and write a review. If you watch this on iTunes, please go in and write a review for Kid Friday. Can you do that? How about YouTube? Write a review. Okay. It's available on 20 different formats. Anyway, or places, outlets, networks, whatever you want to call them. And we like to end with the beginning. And did we even do the beginning? I don't remember. Do you? We do end with the beginning. And I am leaving iPod in the theme. No, not because I'm lazy. No, I could easily rewrite this. But the iPod was groundbreaking. I could bring up the picture of Steve Jobs, but it would take a couple seconds. But regardless, thanks for joining us. We're ending show 237 of Kid Friday. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon.
Hit it, hit it, hit it.
Oh! Let's get this party started.